Hello, everybody, to this month's Facebook Live. I absolutely love doing these Facebook Lives, talking to different business owners, Profit First professionals, and talk about Profit First, which, of course, is such a passion of ours here. Today, I have the lovely Kim Macdonald from Savvy Office Solutions. Welcome, Kim. Please feel free to introduce yourself. Where are you based? What's going on? How are you?
I'm fabulous, thank you. Loving a Tuesday morning. It is Tuesday, isn't it? Yep, definitely.
Yes.
No, I'm good. I'm from Geelong. I have a bookkeeping business, which has grown and evolved over the many years I've been in bookkeeping. So that's exciting, and I love Profit First. Everything to do with Profit First is so much fun. And yeah, I love hanging out with you, Laura, and getting to have a chat about all things numbers and fun and money and all the cool things with that.
Beautiful. And so today we're going to dive and we're going to talk about your own personal experience of your Profit First, how you came across it, what happened, the things that you've managed to achieve, maybe some of the challenges, and also, what kind of happens as you're a Profit First professional and what it is that you do. So that's the recap for everyone that might just be joining us. We are looking at the comments, so if you have specific questions about Profit First or questions for Kim, feel free to drop them in the comments and we will absolutely get those answered. So Kim, when did you first come across Profit First?
To be truthful, it was introduced to me by a client a couple of years before I actually looked at Profit First. A client said to me, "Oh, we're doing this, and what are your thoughts on this?" And I said, "Well, I don't get it. I don't understand how you can pay yourself a profit without paying your expenses. So I'm sorry, I don't get it." Oh, wowzers. And then it sort of just kept popping up everywhere, like in groups that I was part of and conversations, and it just kept coming into my ether. So I was like, oh, this is really interesting. And then lo and behold, Laura, you did a presentation in one of the groups I was part of. I'm like, okay, clearly I've really just got to pay attention just because it keeps popping up. So after your presentation, I ordered the book immediately. Actually, I think I was ordering the book as you were talking in the presentation. I was like, I must get this. And then as soon as it came to me, I started reading it and I was like, oh, wowzers, like this is just a no-brainer. This is everything I've been trying to do with my bookkeeping clients over the years, but didn't quite have the tools or the language to explain it in such a simple process because it's so counterintuitive to what we're taught in the financial industry. And
Absolutely.
It literally does make your brain explode a little. Not going to lie, there was a couple of days of rocking in the corner after that, going, how can it be so simple? I don't understand. So, yeah, that was my introduction to it, really. And then as I was reading through, I was like getting quite excited with some of the stories and thinking like, oh, this so resonates. I get this. And so I decided to start implementing it as I was reading it. Okay. Now, I'm not going to lie, there was a couple of things that I went through. I went, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. There feels like there's so much to do. And like, really, I should have done this years ago. How am I going to start now? And
says every business owner ever.
I know, right? that old proverb of when's the best time to plant a tree 20 years ago, the second best time is now. So it was literally that. And I think for me, there was a bit of shame around it too. I was like, I'm a bookkeeper. I'm in the finance industry, and how have I got to this point? Because as I was going through, the first thing I did was the instant assessment. And I went, I so thought I was doing okay. Like I so thought that my business, I was running it really lean but still paying myself. Like I've always paid myself a wage. That's always been a get-go. And I know, right? You just got to do that. It's never been a great wage, but I was like, okay, so if I'm doing this, how am I not seeing more money? Like I didn't get it myself. Like how did that not work for me? I was doing everything right. Doing it right.
Doing everything right. Love it.
As per what we're taught. And so when I started to go through the implementation and things started to get a little overwhelming, I go, okay, just take a step back and I've done the instant assessment. Then I just went and opened the bank accounts. All 7 of them. I just went straight up. I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I'm smashing it.
All or nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's how I do things. So I did that. And then I went, okay, let's just start with really small little increments for the second, because I was like, is it going to work? I'm just not so sure. I'm committed, but I want to see the results. So
I'm committed, but not really committed. I want to do it in my own way.
So I'll dip my toe in a little bit, but I'll just go full bore with all the bank accounts. So I was like, so in my head, efficiency is best, right? So if I'm going to go to the bank for an hour to set up an account, I'm just going to do the whole lot rather than having to go back again. And I added one extra just in case. Like,
that's hilarious.
It just made sense to do that. So yeah, I started doing that, and literally within a month. So I was reading the book and implementing at the same time, and I sort of even adjusted my percentages every couple of days. Like I started transferring money just a little bit, like because I was only doing like 1% and 1% and 1%. So, and then by the end of like the 3 to 4 weeks, it was like, oh yeah, okay, I see this, and my money hasn't gone anywhere. It's still all in my bank account, so that's okay. Like the trust is there now. I trust this system. My money hasn't disappeared. It's there.
But how funny, if I could just interrupt for 1 second, the mindset behind this whole setup, it was, how can I trust that this is actually going to work? This, and you had to prove to yourself through these little increments that it's actually going to work. And that's really awesome to know, because you're not alone in that respect. So I love that. Just had to kind of like be like, highlight. Anyway.
Yeah, no, and I had to, and some of the things I've gone through with my clients as they've implemented as well, is it's that mindset of going, but I'm moving the money. Mm-hmm. And it's like the money's not going to be there, but actually the money is. It's just moved into one of your other bank accounts. And that I got that process myself. I was like, I'm moving my money around, and I was like, but it's okay, it's still there. Like I had to step myself through that a couple of times and go, you're fine, Kim, you've got this. So that process itself was really overwhelming to start with, but then just so amazing to start seeing the results so quickly. That was probably my biggest win straight up, was going, oh, I see this, like this is working for me. And then from there I did my expense review and really, really looked into everything. And I was the one that got out the coloured highlighters, printed out my bank statement, even though I could see everything in my Xero file. And I really wanted to go through it manually and code things correctly as to what I thought was really necessary.
Love it. And for those that don't know that actual process of the highlighting, do you want to explain how you do it? This is something that I teach a lot, so I'd love to know how you did that.
Yeah, so I get different coloured highlighters, normally 3 to 4, just depends, and I go through and highlight on my bank account, because at that stage I was dealing with everything out of one bank account too. So, majority of things, I had 3 bank accounts, so I was a little bit, on the edge with that. Didn't just have the one. So I was going through and highlighting with a coloured highlighter of everything that was like a necessary expense, everything that I needed to run my business. And then I would go through with a different coloured highlight of everything that was like nice to have, or, it was an extra little something to have at the end of the week, or, something that I was giving my clients. Did they need it? Don't know. I was just highlighting whatever wasn't quite necessary, and then highlighting things that I thought, oh, I actually didn't know that I still had this coming out of my bank account, even though I do my own reports. I was clearly just not paying attention. So I could get rid of this, or can I work out if I can, am I using all of this subscription? So it was something for me to investigate as to what I was using that subscription. I'm using subscriptions as an example, because they're the ones that sneak through the cracks, like all the time. Are you using all of your subscription? Do you need it? Can you downgrade any part of it, or can you utilize a little bit more of it and get rid of something else? So that was my thing. So that took me a little bit, because I have a lot of subscriptions, obviously, with being online bookkeeping. There's lots of different things that we need to be part of. So yeah, that process was pretty cool to go through. And I really
It's
committed
really
and I
helpful.
and did it. And that sort of blew me away a little bit because I thought I was running really lean. And at the end of it, I went, okay, I think I could probably save myself around $500 to $600 a month.
See,
And
that's substantial
it was
when that could go in your pocket.
Yeah, totally substantial. Like, and it made a big difference quickly. Like, I didn't necessarily start getting rid of everything immediately because that's still a little mindset process of going through. But do I really want to let go of it? Am I ready to let go of it? Do I need it for just that little bit longer?
I love that. And that's it. And there's within the book as well, that 1 day extra. And so giving yourself the time to think about it. But also another tip for people is, once you've done that, you can then go back to those that you've highlighted that are like, yeah, they're good to have, but are they necessary? With another color, which is, can you negotiate?
Yeah.
Because we often don't negotiate.
Yep, absolutely. So that's a great tip.
Yeah, so I love that. So what was the process? How long did it take you to do this expense analysis? Because anytime we say expense analysis, people are like, oh my God, really?
Yeah. So I went full bore at it. Like, I printed out a whole year's worth of statement. I was committed.
Wow.
I was committed, right? Because I didn't want to miss any of those annual things. And I'll tell you why I did this. So I went through and did my highlighting. And in saying that, because I'm pretty efficient at what we do, and we didn't have a lot of extra expenses anyway, it took me probably an hour and a half to 2 hours sitting there
for a whole year.
Yep, for the whole
That's
year.
not bad.
Just going through highlighting and doing, like I said, a lot of stuff was actually quite necessary. The savings came with actually downgrading subscriptions, or then going, oh, actually, I've got 2 subscriptions that actually do the same, similar things.
Love that.
And changing it that way.
Which one's better?
Yeah, exactly. So the reason why I did that for a whole year is my extra account that I added, just because I could at the start, I actually straight up put that as an annual expenses account, because in my head, as I was going through doing my expense analysis, I realized that with so many of these subscriptions, I could actually pay less if I paid upfront for the whole year for so many, like, I would say 80% of what I was doing, I could save significant money by paying it
substantial.
Upfront. Yeah, which was huge. So I worked out then. So this was separate to the expense analysis. I did that part of it. And then I opened up, I had that annual account. I just changed the name to, instead of just in case it was like annual account.
Love it.
I worked out how much money I was spending on these things each month, and then worked out what got the annual amount off whatever websites it was that I was dealing with, and started to put that money aside straight away from my OPEX. And then from that, I realized that, and this is where I was coming unstuck most of the time throughout my years of business, was that when big expenses came, because all my money was in the one spot, I would use that money and then feel tight down the track, because I wasn't cash flow forecasting. Like, we're great to talk about it, but did I sit there and do it? No, I didn't. Obviously, yeah, I did.
I love it.
You're too busy doing the do. It's like plasterers having holes in their walls. Like, I just was not focused on it. Then I found from doing this that it was okay, because I don't even need to worry about brain space of thinking about that. Like, it just doesn't. The money goes there, and I know that when the bill comes, the money's there. Like, it's a no-brainer. And now, as I sit and look at my annual expenses account and nearly the tens of thousands of dollars that I have sitting there, because I pay for big things all at one time, and it doesn't affect my cash flow now, whereas previously it used to, and that was where I used to come unstuck.
I love that. And then this is such a big issue for business owners as well, is that we know that it's cheaper to pay the annual amount versus the month to month, but it feels safer to pay the month to month payment plans because it's smaller amounts of money. But then when you look at it, if you had a bank account with money sitting there, then you wouldn't even have to think about it, and you'd save thousands of dollars.
thousands.
The same can be done as if you want to work with someone as well. And this is how I use my accounts too, is I know that it's a big ticket item because I'm going to invest in some help in my business for certain things, whether that be coaching or a profit first professional, whatever it is. Then you can work out, all right, so what is it that I need? How soon do I want to work with this person? And you can use that exact same technique that you do for your annual in this way. And so, yeah, I just wanted to put that in there because there's multiple ways that you can use these bank accounts that are not just the survival of I need enough money to live and pay all the things and tax and expenses. So really appreciate you diving into that. So how many things now do you pay up front? Majority, or do you have a mix?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I would say I'm at about 60%. The ones that I pay month by month are either ones that are on US dollars that don't really have the option. I've got a couple that don't have the option of doing annual, or I'm trialing them and trying to work out if it's actually a program that I want to continue to use as well. So some of the smaller ones that, maybe it's more than 60%. I'd actually have to go and look at that. I am paying a lot of my big things straight up front. There's probably a couple more that I can do, but that's again for another expense review to go back through and see if I'm doing that, because you always grow and evolve with your business as you go, and checking your expenses is now something that I actually get quite a lot of enjoyment out of, because there's always things to discover and there's always change.
You heard that first from Kim.
Thought I'd already done that. Yeah, no, right?
Awesome. No, but it is true. Once you have a system in place that takes the headache of looking at the detail and everything, then it is enjoyable to kind of go, oh yeah, no, I don't need that thing, or that slipped in. So I really do love the fact that you say that it's fun. What else has changed for you? Like you said that you've always paid yourself, but what's happened there?
So what I had done, I have a business partner as well. So there's two of us that we've had to pay wages for throughout the years. And, having moved into, my business partner's moved into retirement now, but we've still been able to pay a wage through having this set up now with our owner's pay and our quarterly profit distributions, etc., has meant that I can still have my normal wage that I'm currently getting without putting extra stress on the business at the second, even though I'm aiming to be paying myself more as I grow with things changing in my business. The profit distribution each quarter is super exciting. And, we still don't take all of that as it stands. We still do 50% into savings and then 25% each. So some quarters it's fabulous, and some quarters it's not as fabulous, depending on the work.
What's happening?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, for me, that process of paying myself didn't actually change because I'd already had that set up from very day one. Like I knew as a mum of 3 kids that I needed to support my kids. So that needed to be a given from the very first day. I get a wage. Has to happen. So
has it increased?
It's increased more slightly over the last year, but there's a reason for that, because giving the biggest part of my profit first journey is actually having business savings put aside now, and knowing that I was starting to get a little bit frustrated with the bookkeeping cycle of quarterly bastards and just doing a lot of bookkeeping all the time and moving more into advisory, which I have been doing over the last 5 years. It's not something new, actually probably even longer than that. And I wanted to give myself some space to actually keep re-educating and again, doing more with Profit First, being a mastery member as well, and doing a lot of other mindset work as well, lots of other professional development. I wanted to give myself the space to do that. You can't do that when you're already working 30 to 38 hours a week.
Absolutely.
Calendar's full. So for me to be able to step back from doing as much bookkeeping as I was means that I'm not actually bringing the income in for for the business, even though I have a staff member and that's fantastic. So it's still got income growing, but having that savings there has meant that I've been able to drip money back into the business to still pay myself, even though I'm not generating the income right now. So that,
and I appreciate you explaining that, because what we tend to think, and then what we're taught online all the time, is hustle, 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 get the thing to a revenue level, and then you'll be able to do all of the things that you want to do. When in actual fact, you can take a couple of steps back, and you can use a framework like Profit First to put money into your vault, into your savings, so that you can decide to work less and prioritize the things like you've done around the professional and personal development, which is, if you are not looking after you, the business can't continue anyway, especially when you don't have big teams that run it, or you're wanting to step out of things. So I know there's been quite a few changes for you, and that is that now you don't work every single day. Is that right?
No, so that's been exciting. So I've been trialing for the last 4 to 5 weeks. I'm now doing a 4-day work week. I was originally doing my 5 days and sort of finishing off at 3 from picking the kids up. And then I found that I was getting a little bit distracted too much throughout my days. So now I've cut it back to 4 days and have filled my hours up, and I'm so much more efficient, and I'm actually getting so much more work done in those 4 days. And knowing that I have that day off, whatever day that might land on, I still haven't got a consistent day yet. So, but having that day off and actually being really, the first week, I think I mentioned to you, it happened that in that week, because when I decided to do it, my calendar was already full. So I had to fit my days off on days that I didn't already have commitments. So my very first week, I had the Friday off, and then the following week, I had the Monday off. As it happened, and I was like, oh my God, Kim, you can't have a 4-day weekend. Who do you think you are, having a 4-day weekend? And the stories that went on in my head, I was like, this is crazy. I'm allowed to have 4 days. It's fine.
But isn't it interesting? Oh my goodness.
So interesting. And it took a lot for me on that Monday to not come into my office to do some work. It really did. I actually had to go out of the house and go for a walk and do things out to not do it. But I did it. And now since then, it'll be interesting, because I think this week coming up, I've got the same scenario happening again. But I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a problem now. I think I've gotten used to it. So
love it.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. That actually made me giggle. I was like, how funny are the stories we tell ourselves? And as business owners, because we should be busy all the time, and like you were just saying, hustle, hustle, hustle. And in my 13 years of business, I have grown, I have shrunk, I have changed, I have evolved in so many different directions over those years, like from having really big teams, a huge amount of clients, dealing all the accounting softwares, going down to just myself and my business partner again, and then only one accounting software, and then employing again, and then getting more clients again, and having a bigger team again, and then shrinking it again. It's grow and evolve with business. So the important thing is supporting yourself through that, and not hustle all the time, because burnout's not fun.
No, it's really not. But I love the fact that you've made a decision and were able to put a plan in place to support that. So you've made, from what you've just shared, and I know that there's a lot more, being able to pay for things up front has meant that you don't have that stress anymore, and you're saving thousands of dollars. You've chosen to put 50% into your savings account so that you can take that step back, invest in yourself, slow down a bit, and still be able to pay yourself the same wage and pay, your expenses, have tax aside and all of that, and work a 4-day week so that you can really be in a business that you love. Would that be right?
Absolutely. And probably the most exciting part of that was Profit First. Like it gave me the vision. I didn't know that's what I wanted. I knew I didn't want to be working all the time, doing all the things and being burnt out and, being a little stress head all the time. That wasn't what I wanted, but I didn't know what I did want. And it was through implementing Profit First and taking those things that I started to see things that I'd never seen before, because I actually didn't have the brain space for it. I was too busy all the time making decisions from a place of being unsure, or money scarcity, or what if, and all. But now with this in place, even though we're talking money in buckets, like realistically, that's what we're talking about. It's so much more than that. That's just the very foundational little bit of security that you get, that you go, I can see that clearly. And that the brain space that allows is huge, like huge. It's life-changing, absolutely life-changing. And I implemented Profit First in my own personal finances as well. And so by doing that as well, it meant literally hardly any time that I need to spend on doing these things for myself, because it's so automated and I know that it works, and I just literally transfer my money, and because it's percentages, it just works. It doesn't matter what my income is. If it fluctuates, it's okay. It's still going to work out.
I love that. So you've spoken about the fact that there's a mindset. The mindset's highlighted as to what it is that we're carrying ourselves, but also the mental load that can be reduced by having this in place, as well as allowing you to make changes in your business that you didn't even know you needed until you realized you could do it. So do you work in a similar way with your clients? I do. Sometimes it's just asking the questions of like, why are you doing that? Why do you think there could be another option? Like, how's that working out for you? Has it been serving you well? Is there something potentially we could change with that? And it's just asking those questions and then going, oh, well, sometimes I don't even have an answer as to why they do it. It's just, I've just done it. It's always been that way. Yeah. I never thought to change it. So sometimes having that person to have that conversation with, and sometimes these conversations are not something that you can ever have with like your significant other or your parents or people that aren't in business. And that's pretty much how I work with my clients, is like, I'm your cheer squad. I'm here to get the best for you. Like, I want to see you succeed. You succeed, I succeed. We get to have so much fun and celebrate this together. Like, it brings me so much joy to be able to see how their lives change, sometimes simply by having the conversations of asking different questions that they've never even considered, because you don't know what you don't know. So absolutely, if it's happening without you realizing why it's happening, just change something. It can be something really small that just starts this whole ripple effect of everything else that happens with your mindset and your stories that are running in the background. Absolutely. And then you've got obviously the framework, which can realize once you know what your goal is, it gives you the path forward to make those changes. And so I love the fact that you've shared your experience and what some of the changes that have happened for you implementing Profit First. If anyone had any questions for you or wanted to get in contact with you, where's the best place for them to find you? Probably heading straight to my website is the best way, because it's got a contact me there email that you can just pop in a few questions, or it's got my mobile number. savvyofficesolutions.com.au is probably the best way. Yeah. Beautiful. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. We'll be coming back to answer anything that we might have missed while you're watching this. Thank you so much, Kim, for sharing your Profit First journey and everything that, some insights as to what changes you have had. I know it will be completely beneficial for those that watching live or watch the replay. And you can also hit us up at our website. We have a directory. Kim's on that, giving you a bit of a highlight as to who she is and what she does. So feel free to contact her that way as well. Thank you again, Kim. You're such a pleasure to spend time with you. Thank you. See you later. Bye, everyone.